Kat, when we last caught up with you, you had just advanced to the live shows on The Voice. You went on to deliver arguably the most memorable performance of the season and made it into the top 10. So what were the emotions like as you advanced week after week, then when your time on the show came to an end, and then when you watched the few shows that you weren't a part of?
A lot of crying. Happy tears and sad, both. Just a lot of emotions. You know, while you're on the show, you constantly check yourself, check in with yourself, and make sure you're doing okay, because it's a lot of mental stress. And it was the first for me as far as having the amount of attention, both positive and negative, online. And it was ridiculous. You know, it was like I dealt with it, but I think I could have dealt with it a little bit better, because there were so many people out there that were just being so wonderful and saying such wonderful, supportive things. But the kind of person and the kind of, you know, artist that I am, I'm my own worst critic, and if somebody says something bad, that has so much more weight, you know, than you know, if one person says something bad and then 100 people say something nice, you're focusing on that one person, you know, and it's just natural to do that. And I remember, you know, we were sitting, it was just Caroline and I, we were the only ones left on CeeLo's team, and I remember sitting in the rehearsal hall and just kind of like, you know, venting about it and just saying, God, I'm just so upset. Like, why do people have to be so mean? I don't understand. And Caroline, who's, you know, 17, 18 years old, she's like, just ignore it. You know, it's like, why couldn't I be you when I was your age? She's a Zen master. Yeah, but I mean, it was just incredible. And to be in the bottom three so many times, and I just kept hanging on. The instant save was incredible, because when they announced that they were going to do it, because that was the first time they'd done it on the show, I was like, oh no. I was like, that doesn't sound like fun at all. Oh no. Like, don't give people 5 minutes, because no one ever votes for me. You know, no one ever in my life. I just haven't experienced a lot of winning, and so yeah. In those 5 minutes, I remember I turned to my mom and my husband in the audience, and I looked at them and I said, I'm going home. And because I thought, you know, Johnny was more popular than I was with the ladies, and, you know, the ladies hated me. Some of them did. They did not like my legs hanging out of those shorts. But, you know, the 5 minutes were up, and they said my name, and I just couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. And that's what led me to do the Kickstarter in the first place, because I saw what people could do in 5 minutes, the power. If everybody came together, what we could do in 5 minutes. So I wanted to experience that again. And here it's, you know, it's like with the 5 minutes translates to the Kickstarter's policy of all or nothing. You know, let's make this happen now. And that's why The Voice introduced the instant save in the first place, because what they were finding was that a lot of people wouldn't vote because they thought that the person that they liked on the show was going to be safe. And that's why they introduced the instant save, because they're like, well, let's see what happens when they have 5 minutes and they see that somebody they like is about to go home. So, but it was cool because, like, even Neil Gaiman got into it and saved me. And then the next week, I knew there was no way in hell that I was going to be staying when Caroline was in the bottom three, because she, you know, that's her demographic. So many young people watch the show, and also she's incredibly talented and sweet and very lovable, and I love her, and she deserves to be on the show. And I mean, everybody did, but yeah, I mean, that in that particular instance, you know, I've been fighting ever since I've been on the live shows. I've been fighting to stay on the show, fighting, and I had compromised who I was for the Mary Lambert song. Not because it's not a beautiful song, and I love the song to death. I put the song on my list, but because it was an alt country song, and I thought, I'll do the song, and it'll appeal to a lot of people. And And I shouldn't have done that. I should have just stuck to being who I am, rock and roll. And so when it came time to pick my last song, or I didn't know it was my last song, but, I said, you know what, if this is going to be my last song, I'm going out swinging. And I'm going out with a bunch of male dancers and a gold piano, and I am doing this the way that I want to do it. And I did. And so when you do something like that, and you really put your heart and soul into it, and it doesn't work out anyway, you just don't have any regrets.
On the show that you were eliminated, I mean, that performance was like Super Bowl caliber performance.
It was
just
incredible.
The production of it all, and
yeah.
It was honestly, maybe I'm biased because, we here at Helping Hands are rock fans, but
yeah.
it just seemed that there was something wrong with the performance being that good and being the one that got eliminated.
Oh, thank you. Well, I can't really make a comment about that without putting somebody else down that doesn't deserve to be put down. Everybody, the thing is, at that point, everybody's so damn good.
True.
And
there's a lot of competition for sure.
A lot of competition, and I was in the bottom 3 with Austin and Caroline, and Caroline stayed because she's got a beautiful voice. She sings like Lorde and Ellie Goulding, and they're both extremely popular right now. And rock and roll, quite honestly, doesn't really have that strong of a voice right now. And it hasn't for a while, and hopefully I'm going to be able to bring it back with this album that I'm working on.
Well, we're definitely counting on you for exactly that. So you are carrying the weight of rock and roll on your shoulders, but if anyone can do it, you can do it. So through the show, you were able to personally connect with an idol of yours, Amanda Palmer, who seems to have graciously and unselfishly taken you under her wing. Now, how has that relationship blossomed, and why do you think that out of all of Amanda's fans, she took a special interest in you?
I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, that's making me teary-eyed. I never thought about that. She's very giving. She's very giving to all of her fans. If you look on her Facebook page, she's constantly interacting with people, and she's constantly going out of her way and reaching out to her fans, and that's just who she is. And I think that the fact that I had a platform, it's like I'm sure a lot of musicians reach out to her. And it's just the oversaturation of so many bands reaching out to her, and she just doesn't have a lot of time. But here's this girl that's on this national television show, and is being watched by millions of people, and it's this huge production, and I'm sitting there in interviews saying, because people kept asking me who your influences are, and I kept saying, Queen and David Bowie and Amanda Palmer, over and over and over again. And fans on Twitter reached out to her and said, "Do you know that this girl is a huge fan of yours?" And I think it was the volume of people that reached out to her, and then she had a video to watch. She had a YouTube video that was, it wasn't just somebody like sitting in their apartment, doing whatever. It was. It was a major television show. So I think it was the platform of The Voice that really, got her attention. But it's been amazing. It's like she's just been incredibly generous. Both she and Neil Gaiman have been incredibly generous. And it worked. It's funny enough. I couldn't have left the show at a better time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would have loved to have stayed on the show because being on the show is like nothing else. And they were so incredibly supportive, and they allowed me to have those big, high-cost production numbers like We Belong, And they never held me back. The show never once held me back. They were so good about that. But if I was going to get eliminated, it was kind of serendipity when I did get eliminated, because the show flew me to New York to be on the Today Show, and it just so happened that that Amanda and Neil were performing in New York at the same time. And when I told her that, she invited me to come and perform, and I just couldn't believe it. And I was just so excited, and you know, to get to meet her. I've been following her career for over a decade, and I'm just, you know, I mean, like, I'm just such a huge fan. And I know I talk about her all the time, but as a songwriter, I know, like, how hard it is to write songs. I really admire how honest she is in her lyrics, and how heartbreaking her songs are, and how they touch you so much. And but yeah, I mean, she's just been amazing. And then I was back in LA for the finale, and then she just happened to be in LA, so I got to see her again. We got to perform 2 nights in a row together, and she's just been incredible. And I don't know why me, but as opposed to other people, I think she's helping everybody that she can. But I don't know. I'm just really thankful. It's just it's just I don't know. I'm just really thankful. Like, I don't know. It's overwhelming sometimes because.
Yeah, I mean, all of those instances, it just seems like the stars aligned for the two of you to meet and collaborate like that. Yeah, and you know, it's like maybe 6 or 7 years old, not that long ago, but maybe like 6 years ago, I saw her in concert, and I had the Design's first album, which was not a very well, you know, produced album. The songs were good, but it just wasn't. It was our first attempt, and I gave her the album, and I asked her to listen to a song, and then, you know, I never heard from her, and I completely understand that, because I'm sure a million people give them, you know, their demos and her records to listen to, and please listen to that. And even in you know, in a small way, like the Design, we didn't have a huge following, but even then I had people giving me stuff. And it was like, well, who are you? I don't know who you are, and I'm not into rap music. Like, I really want to listen to you know. And then now I constantly have people share their music with me, and I honestly do the best that I can to listen to their music if it's easily accessible. Mm-hmm. You know, if it's on SoundCloud or whatever, I'll try and I'll listen to it. And a lot of times I'm rewarded from doing that because the music is good and I enjoy it. And I get excited then. But yeah, I mean, I just don't know. I like, she's it's just absolutely insane. I feel very, very, very lucky. I feel very, very lucky, and I'm very honored to be associated with her, because I think that what she stands for and what she fights for is just so amazing, you know. And there aren't really that many people like her doing that, you know. Cool. Now, obviously, your big news this week is the launch of your Kickstarter. Tell us all the juicy details behind that.
Okay. Juicy details. I don't know about any juicy details.
You got some pretty interesting packages, and certainly the response in, 31 hours or so has been nothing short of incredible. Yeah.
It's been absolutely incredible. Well, one of the great things about being on the show, well, maybe what people don't realize is that just because I was on a hit TV show does not mean that I'm like rolling in cash right now. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that I've had labels like beating down the door to sign me. But what it's done, the show's been very beneficial for me, because it's a continuation of building a portfolio. Now I have all of these incredible videos, like high definition, incredible production videos of me on YouTube, and you know, it's very accessible. It's very easy to find me online now. But one of the great things that I got from being on the show was finding a new manager, which has been incredible. JJ Italiano is his name, and he's one of the reasons why I wanted to, I had some options, and one of the reasons why I decided to work with JJ is because he, the kind of career that I want to have is very similar to Amanda's. I'm very DIY. I've always hit the pavement, and I've sold albums out of my hand. I've never been signed to a record label. I've been on the road for years and years and years, and just reached out to people one at a time, and so I'm not opposed to continue to doing that. I feel like that's an incredible way to gain fans and to reach out to people, is actually seeing them face to face and getting to play to them with them. And so when I told JJ that hey, maybe I don't sign with a label, maybe I do a Kickstarter where everything is completely out in the open, and it's a wonderful collaboration between an artist and their fans, and it's a direct exchange, and it's super positive, and it's another wonderful platform. And so JJ had led several successful Kickstarter campaigns, one of them being he led a successful campaign with I Fight Dragons when they were under his management. And I think their goal was $20,000, and they raised over $100, which was incredible. So we just spent about 3 weeks getting it together, figuring out what was the story that I wanted to tell, and what are our goals, and what do we want to do with this. And Amanda had a big hand in helping, which is very generous of her, because she's actually in Australia right now writing a book. So she's always incredibly busy, but so we spent about 3 weeks getting it all together, and the packages were really fun to put together. And but just I would basically I wrote to her and I said, hey, because she had when we met with each other in New York, when we played the show in New York, Haley, a representative from Kickstarter, was actually there at the show, and I talked to Haley, and Amanda, she was like, yeah, you should do a Kickstarter. And I looked into it, and I really loved the concept. So that definitely helped me make a decision. But I emailed Amanda and I said, all right, I got a manager, and we're going to do a Kickstarter. And Amanda's like, fuck yes. And she's like, she's like, things to know about Kickstarter. And she sent me this email, things that things to do, things not to do. And so I sent her like a progression of things, rough drafts and stuff, and she really, helped out with that, helped out with the video, gave me a lot of advice. She's even contributed, and she shared it on Twitter this morning, which is really exciting. And Neil did too. Neil included me in a blog post that he did this morning, so that was really cool. But yeah, I guess what people need to know about Kickstarter is I'm not making any money off of this. Every dime that I earn from this Kickstarter is going into the album and is going right back into the hands of the contributors. And that's the really great thing about Kickstarter, is that it's all about, give me this, and you're getting it right back, and you're doing this wonderful thing, and you're making a huge difference, and not only my life, but like everybody who's excited about this album, and you're helping this to come out. And the way that we priced it, we wanted everybody to be able to afford to contribute. Even if you can only contribute $1 or $2 to get the digital download, that's more than generous. And it's just like, I appreciate it. I really do. And then we had some bigger price packages. The only one that has not been grabbed yet is the most expensive one, and it's the most expensive one by far. It's the $5,000 package, and it's for a private house party concert where I fly to wherever you live in the United States. I show up and I play a house party for you, and we hang out all night long. And the reason that I wanted to do this was because I attended one of Amanda's house parties that she did for her Kickstarter. And she did these all over the world. I think she was able to sell about 37. I hate to use the word sell, but she had 37 people contribute to the house party package. And I went to her party, and it was just so much fun because you invite about 50 of your friends over, and you guys hang out all night, and you drink and you talk, and you get to know each other a little bit, and then she sits down and she plays this intimate set for you. And I wanted to do the same thing because I enjoyed it so much, and I think other people could. And so I hope that somebody is going to contribute to that, and I hope that also people know that they can get all of their friends. It doesn't just have to be one person. They can get a bunch of friends together and pool. I know, like, I couldn't afford that right now, for sure. But, people can pull their funds together and have just a really, really fun house party. So another thing that we're seeing is the $500 package on come to the studio for the day and get to see how the record is being made. A lot of people have asked me, where are you recording? Because, yeah, fair enough, you have to pay for your travel expenses. You want to know where you're traveling to and how much that's going to cost you.
Good question.
So, yeah, it's a good question. I've had two people have bought the package, but a lot of people have the question of, yeah, where are you recording? And honestly, right now, we're not 100% sure, so we don't want to tell anybody. We're going to record here and then have a lot of people, contribute and then not be able to afford to come. Like, that's the last thing that I want to happen. So, but hopefully we are going to, number one, reach our goal of 20,000. Maybe tonight. I don't know. That would be amazing.
That $5,000 package could put you over that hurdle right now if someone were to choose it.
Yeah, it wouldn't. It really, honestly, that's it. I was telling my mom, I was like, I only need 4 people to contribute to the Kickstarter. Yeah, but that's so funny. But yeah, like that would be amazing if that happened. I honestly think people are waiting on that one. Like, I completely understand. It's going to take more than 2 days for somebody to go, I'm going to drop $5,000 on this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I completely understand that. So we'll see. That would be incredible. That would just be incredible. And it's just so much fun, too. So much fun. Just parties, house parties, and, I'm bringing my guitar and my piano, and we're just going to sit and hang out and have a great time. And so, yeah, I'm excited I got to include Doctor Who in the Kickstarter. I'm such a huge fan, and I've been working on that print for over a year. And it's one of those projects like Reckless Boys where I was like, this is going to take me about a month. And it ends up taking like a year of my life.
Those hand-drawn ones, the original drawings, wow, they went super fast. Were you thinking to yourself, geez, I should have did a few more of those? Yeah,
I didn't know because it's my artwork, and I don't want to, like, toot my own horn. I may suck. I don't know. I drew them. I originally had them in separate packages, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make somebody pay $250 for each of these. I'm just going to bundle them together. And, yeah, like, they went really quickly, so it's very flattering. It's very, very flattering. And it may be that I'm not quite sure about the rules, but if we go past our $20,000 goal, a lot of people are starting to ask now about stretch goals. So adding to the campaign. So I could definitely add things. But then I worry, I don't want to add stuff, and then people are like, well, damn, I wish that I had waited and bought that. So I don't know what the rule is about that. I don't want to piss anybody off. But, yeah, I've got plenty more stuff that I could whip up.
Cool. Well, the Kickstarter is designed to fund your album, but that's really just a means to an end. What do you hope happens when the album is funded, recorded, and finally out there?
Well, I hope the people love it. I hope that the people that contributed to the Kickstarter, I hope that they listen to the album. I hope they love it, and then I hope they share it. And I hope they share it as much as they possibly can, because there's literally nothing stronger than word of mouth, especially when it comes to music, especially when we're living in an era of music where the market is incredibly oversaturated. And funny enough, the way that I found out about the Dresden Dolls, which was Amanda's first band, or the band that was that that was, I guess, her first big success. I had a friend tell me about them. And most of the bands that I really get into and really love are recommended to me. I'm not one of those people that goes on Spotify. Well, I'll go on Spotify if I haven't heard, like, why do people keep talking about this band AWOL Nation, whatever. I'll go on Spotify and I'll check them out and I'll listen to their album, and if I love it, then I'll buy it. But yeah, like, most of the music that I listen to has been recommended to me. It's just your friend's word, your friend standing there saying, you need to listen to this, or playing the album for you, is so much stronger than you going online and seeing an ad for a band, or, seeing whatever. It's like, yeah, I mean, unless you've made it to the point where you're on the top 20s on iTunes or whatever, no one's ever going to hear about you. And the only way is going to be through word of mouth. So what I want ultimately for the rest of my life, I just want to be able to play music for the rest of my life, make enough to pay rent, and I want to be on the road and play shows to full houses. That's it. That's all I want. I just want to continue to make music. I've been making a small living as a musician for 10 years. I don't have a lot of money. I am very frugal, but I'm happy because I'm writing, because I'm performing. That's what makes me the happiest. So that's all I need. And certainly, I was driving to the grocery store in the pouring rain today, and I was thinking to myself, man, I must really, really love my job, because I'm sure not in it for the money.
It's great to see that finally the world is paying attention, and you have some wheels under your feet now, and have a platform to to take that next step where you can make it a sustainable career for the long term.
Yeah, I just think I'm very lucky. I'm very, very lucky. I've had some incredible people support me. My husband, first and foremost, has just been, we've been pretty equal throughout the years, but in the past year I haven't really had a job. I haven't really been working, and not once has he told me to give up, and that I need to move on. So I'm very thankful for that, and I'm thankful that I didn't give up, because the past 10 years have been a real struggle, and a lot of times I've asked myself, why am I doing this? You're on the road, playing venues and playing, we made a living as a cover band for so many years, and playing those venues sometimes was great, and then sometimes people would literally tell you to stop playing because they wanted to watch the game. And it was like, playing sports bars and stuff like that can be very disheartening. And you ask yourself, why am I doing this? And it's so many days, it's so many hours, it's so many years that you are on the road, and it's not fun. It's not like we're playing Miami and we're going to spend the day on the beach. It's we're playing in the bumfucking nowhere, and we don't even have a van that we can go exploring or whatever. We're stuck in the hotel room, and we're driving in this van in the middle of the night, and we've got our entire PA with us, so 5 of us are sitting in the first 2 seats of the van, and we don't, we can't even lay down to go to sleep, and you see all these other bands just dropping like flies. And certainly for me, we lost one band member after another because they weren't happy, because they didn't like being on the road that much, and it wasn't fulfilling for them. And for me, I just wanted to keep going and keep working and keep climbing. And when my band broke up a year ago, I was devastated, because I thought, well, crap, this was my chance, and now I'm going to have to start all over again. And I was fully prepared to do that. I was right there, getting ready to put a new band together and start, writing new music for whatever I was getting ready to do. And it just so happened that The Voice came along, right, like literally a month after my band broke up, and that's been my life for a year, and it's been an incredible year, an incredible year, and now I'm here, and oh God, and if I had tried to do this Kickstarter a year ago, it would never have worked out. It wouldn't. So I'm just so thankful for The Voice. I'm so thankful for Amanda Palmer and Neil Gaiman. I am just so thankful for the multitudes of people that are contributing and people like you who are willing to share my story. I'm just so incredibly thankful.
Well, we're definitely happy to do that. We love your music. We admire you as a performer and just the work ethic, for what you did. It would have been easy to give up, and a lot of people do give up, even acts that make it onto national labels. You see them throw in the towel. And I have a friend who's a Grammy-nominated songwriter in Nashville, and she said, people always seem to give up right before something big is about to happen for them in the music industry. Yeah. And, that could have easily been you if you didn't have the work ethic to keep going 1 year ago. So,
yeah. Well, that's just it. Like, I was not, I look back and I keep beating myself up for not, the band, I loved my band so much, but I should have moved on a long time ago. I shouldn't have been playing cover music for as long as I did, and I should have really focused on my original music and pushed that. But just like you said, I kept thinking, what if I quit the band? What if the band breaks up and we miss this huge opportunity that we could have had if we'd stayed together?
Mm-hmm.
And like some of the most successful bands, like U2, for example, they were all kids when they started playing together. Red Hot Chili Peppers, all kids when they started playing together.
Mm-hmm.
And they stuck with it. They stuck with it, and they didn't give up. And every time you start a new project, it is essentially starting over. You have to get to a certain level before you can move on to another project or do anything like that. So I just was not willing to give up. And then basically, the decision was made for me because we just kept losing band members. And the last few months of the band, we had a drummer, I think, for 2 months, and he quit. And then we hired a new drummer, and I think 2 weeks into hiring this guy, he was like, I just want to let you know that I'm only going to do this for 2 months because I want to move back to Boston. I'm like, you know what? No. That is it. I am done. I am so done. I just can't. I can't spend another 2 weeks teaching somebody the 100, 200 songs that we have to play for weddings and corporate events. And then I can't. I can't. And at that point, and honestly, it wasn't until I listened to this podcast from Freakonomics called The Art of Quitting that I realized that quitting something wasn't necessarily a failure. And that's what I was so afraid of. Is if I quit the band, it was a failure. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, switching gears just quickly, being a charity-oriented publication, we noticed you did a performance at a charitable event last week. Any notable story behind that?
It was Models for Charity was hosting it, and it's just an organization that puts together events for charities. I guess that's the best way to put it. They're not a charity themselves, but they host events for charities. And this particular time, it was for I always get tongue twisted, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society of North Carolina. I can't say lymphoma.
You did great.
I've had practice. No, nothing really special there. I was honored that they asked me to come in and perform, and I just I went and I performed Reckless Boys. A lot of people think that's a new song, but it's off of our last album, Young America. And then she asked me if I would do an uplifting cover, so I did Katy Perry's Roar, which I wanted to sing on The Voice, but I didn't get to because Olivia did. So it was really fun. I enjoyed, being there. Oh, this was really cool. I had 2 fans that I'd never met before that follow me on Twitter that drove 4 hours to come and hear me sing one song. And they hung out, and I gave the girl, there was a girl and a boy, and I gave the girl one of my rings. And because I was like, man, I got to give her something. Jeez. And we took pictures together, and they were very happy, and it was very sweet. It was incredible that they would drive that distance to see. And I felt bad. I was like, oh my God, I didn't, because I invited them out to the show, and I thought that they were, for some reason, I thought they were local. I thought that they lived in the Raleigh area, and they're from Rock Hill, Virginia, and they drove 4 hours, and then they were there for maybe like an hour, and then they drove back 4 hours.
Wow.
So yeah, no, but that was really fun. It was really, really fun, and I met a lot of people. Gave out my business card, but no, I was. It's always an honor when people invite you to do things like that. And any way that I can help, I'm happy to.
That is awesome. So finally, what else do you want our audience to know about Kat Robichaud and what you have coming up, including any other details on the Kickstarter?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, if I reach the goal, the Kickstarter is not over. We keep going until the time runs out. So there's no limit to how much money we can raise. I am really hoping to raise as much as we can, and I'm not pocketing any of it. It's going to go right back out to the fans. I'll invest it into making an even better album. With, I'll put guest musicians on there. I'll try. I mean, it would be amazing to get Amanda Palmer on the album. Bigger production, just over the top, Queen layering, you know what I mean? Like Queen-esque layering. If we raise enough that the album is as good as it's going to get, and we still have money left, we're going to put it into touring, because right now I can't afford to tour. I need I know a lot of people want me to, but there have to be steps that are taken. First and foremost, getting the money to raising the money for this album and producing the album and getting it out there, and then having the ability to go and take it on tour. So hopefully we're going to continue to raise that money. So we've got 28 days left. People can continue, and if you've already contributed, or you honestly just can't afford it, and I completely understand, share it. Let people know about it. Let people know, because you may be able to afford that album in the future, and you sharing it will help make it happen.
Awesome. Well, Kat, thank you so much for the generous sharing of your time today, and
thank you.
We certainly look forward to catching up with you once again when the album comes out, and can't wait to hear it.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and best of luck with the Kickstarter campaign the rest of the way.
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.